And we're live. Let's do this. Hey guys, it's Spence. Unfathomable to me that it is September 20th, 2024. I don't know about you. The days and the weeks seem to be blending together faster than I can imagine. I remember literally just sitting here like it was yesterday, and here it is, another week gone. However, I hope like you, I hope like me at least, you're making use of the time. So I feel like this has been an incredibly productive week. And today I'm going to do something. It's like the old evil genius, Spence. Many of you may know that I cut my teeth long before WordPress existed on social networking stuff on a platform called Ning, which now lives on sort of, if you will, as Mighty Networks by the original founder, Gina Bianchini. And back in the day when we were kids, we ended up doing some interesting stuff. I had a company called Widget Laboratory with another guy, and we built widgets and solutions for work and play that worked on the Ning platform. This is before Facebook and YouTube and all these other social media things were readily available. Flash forward, and probably some of the best action I've been getting, or the most questions I've been getting, is the excitement around the Fluent community's capability that we can now weave into the LaunchKit and the rest of the ready-to-go stuff to provide essentially all the same benefits and more, all the same features and more, with full ownership and control, which includes, of course, the monetization is all yours or that of your clients, which is a significant difference that works across many of the other social platforms with the features we can emulate using LaunchKit. But SkoolWP, because it's so famously promoted, Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozy, as a platform for people who are doing the kinds of things that go along with membership, marketing automation, sales funnels, and more. It seems like a natural that I'm going to show you how to make your own SkoolWP with just a couple button clicks, because all of the capabilities are both built into what the community features are of Fluent Community, but also with the other parts of the LaunchKit. And many of you have asked me, hey, Spence, show me how to do it. Well, I'm going to show you from scratch because it's so easy to do that anybody can either click a button and it's ready to use, even hosted for less than the cost of Skool, through LaunchKit, and owned and controlled with WordPress, meaning you can do anything you want. Or you can just get LaunchKit and use the ready-to-go patterns and other things I'm showing you, because that's the whole concept. Just like IKEA furniture, you can furnish your brand new custom house, or you could go in the business. Good morning, Sharon. You can go in the business of providing these services. Instead of chopping down trees and carving furniture, we're going to show you how to make the platform things that all your clients want without them having to commit to being locked into a SaaS platform. I want to give full disclosure. I do own the name now, SkoolWP, for the purposes of educating and showing people there should be no confusion whatsoever that I have absolutely nothing to do with the real Skool. I would like if maybe Alex would adopt me as his older son and maybe set me up. But other than that, just to be clear, this is WordPress open source software, how to do the same thing. And of course, I'm going to clarify, because this is going to be called SkoolWP, and the domain name you can go to will be SkoolWP. So for those of you who like what you're seeing here, I'm basically going to package up everything that I am doing and showing along with the LaunchKit, so you could just start with this, whether you want to do it as a LaunchKit do-it-yourself or you want to do it as a hosted. So hopefully I've satisfied my legal whatever. By the way, nobody said anything, so let me double check if if my audio is running. I should have checked that first, right? Let me just double check before I go on longer. And Sharon, let me know. Yep, it's good. Okay. I've reached a state of nirvana with figuring it out. All right, so let's jump into it. What am I using here? I am using the Fluent Community plugin that's available now in what I will call late stage beta. That is to say that it should be coming out anytime now for everybody to use. But you can use it right now if you get it either through the Fluent Community. You can sign up, or you can join me with LaunchKit. So as I'll give you the link here at wplaunchify.com. Thanks, Marcus. Good morning. Good morning, Bernie. I love to see everybody saying hi. So if you join me over here at LaunchKit, here's how easy this is. You can build a lot of other SaaS features just with clicking together a few things. That's the whole point. Today, we're doing SkoolWP. So if you go with the $97 a month, You get it fully hosted, all the software for everything you need, plus unlimited email consultation. If you want just the software, you can go with the $47 and just follow along what I'm doing. Okay. So that's just a starting point. Next, on the back end, let's go on the back end because it pretty much left us a blank site. I'm going to build this on the fly so you can see what's going on. And I want to comment as we go because my 20 plus years in this business started with social networking and all of the drama that it entails. And many of you have been my consultative clients and heard me say this in person, but I want to share this with everybody. Imagine if WordPress was delivered to you as a service and Spence was your concierge to smooth all the rough edges and just give you a ready to go platform. That's what we're trying to achieve. And whether you do it for yourself or you do it with me for yourself, or we show you how to do it for a client, the net result is a big win because it's a huge profit center and a great amount of leverage when you own and control the entire thing, but it's easily managed from, let's say, a wholesaler like myself as a smoothed out system. Kind of like, think of it, you're becoming a car dealer or you're buying a very high-end car. It's much different than putting it together completely on your own. So what I've got here is got LaunchKit. Now, for those of you who have just started out with me at LaunchKit, let me explain. LaunchKit smooths out your entire experience of how you administer your sites, install software, manage software, get updates, and so forth. And so rather than it being random, it's essentially a dashboard feature that allows you to smooth over some of the things, not the least of which is preventing all the plugins from putting all these banner ads and grabbing your attention. And second of all, it smooths out the things like when you enable a plugin, the activation wizard running away with you to another place, when you just wanted to get stuff turned on. That would never happen on Skool. Like any other platform, they don't take you away to talk about buying other stuff. So this smooths that out. One of the things you'll notice at the top is I've enabled the hidden notices feature so as to eliminate some of this shenanigans. Like this is just a snippet of what's to come. But like if you've ever worked inside of WordPress, adding plugins a la carte, it gets out of control. Furthermore, even though the software is open source, there has become an out of control situation with regard to like putting in license keys. Why the heck does anybody need to add 99 license keys on their own site? So with LaunchKit, you add zero license keys. We give you the software. It's all basically the original stuff, but we've just made the dashboard experience with this hidden notices such that it hides all of the things that are trying to go, hey, Marcus, over here. All right. Thank you, Marcus, by the way. And this is one of the examples of how to use that in action, right? So how to use this kind of like smooth together experience. All right, next, we're going to go ahead and install the software. Now, I've already done this to save a couple minutes because I know I've only got, so many minutes of your day today. But what LaunchKit lets you do is click a button, check for the latest updates. We deliver a package of all the software you'll ever need, and if there's anything missing, I provide it for you. Now, the whole idea of LaunchKit, just like IKEA, is that you buy from the inventory of things where we've gotten rid of duplicates, right? Why do you need 7 different plugins to do membership? You shouldn't have any plugins for membership. Why do you need 5 features for doing the same thing? You need one of the best of each. And so what we've done is I'm constantly curating these and making sure that they don't break each other or break WordPress, which isn't that kind of the point? Right now, out of control is the WordPress core, where every day they add some new thing that breaks. And then you have 90 other plugins. Their authors are all independently adding things that could break everything. So every morning I wake up and I have my, lemon balm soother. No, I have coffee. And I just go through and I curate the latest software, make sure everything's working. That way you don't have to bother. And if there is a problem, guess what? I see like 1,300 people in advance going, hey, this is a problem, so I can prevent it from becoming a bigger run. So now that I've checked for the updates, typically what I'll do is I'll just click this button and update everything. I already did that. And then you can check to see if there's any updates left to be done with this button. So super easy to manage. Let's look at the stack that I've installed. I've got, starting with Fluent Community. One of the things that we add in here, by the way, is a tool. So let's go use it. Let's go under Settings, Menu Editor. Let's order these things alphabetically, because what I do as a 57-year-old is read alphabetically. So whenever you add something new, you can either do this with a click of a button or dragging. You can see they have a little green thing. I want to put this back into alphabetical order because otherwise it blows my mind, right? So Fluent Snippets goes after Fluent Boards, and Fluent Community goes here. You can put them anywhere you want. I just know that my brain is working better when I can just look to the left and it's alphabetical, with the exception of I put dashboard and LaunchKit at the top. Okay, so we have Fluent Community. I've added, in case we want to talk about it, Fluent Forms, Fluent Boards, if you want to do Kanban stuff for the automation or running your business with clients. Fluent Snippets is what I use for little tchotchkes if I need them for CSS or otherwise. Probably won't use that today. Fluent Support is not something I'm going to use today, but what is really cool, I've had a lot of clients who want to do their in-house support with a team. By using this, it really integrates tightly with the CRM and the people you're already working with. So if somebody bought stuff, you want to talk to them, you sent them emails, you got a license, something, whatever you're doing with them, having Fluent Support inside is actually useful if you've got a team of more than one person. Otherwise, I don't know if you really need that. Fluent CRM is the heart and engine that I use, and we use at WP Fusion as well as WP Launchify instead of an outside CRM. Why the hell would we be paying for the privilege of using what we can already do in-house as a plugin and have complete autonomy to do everything we want? Of course, I built everything on Cadence, and under the hood, I'm also going to offer a LearnDash course, and I'm going to sell it with WooCommerce and Launchflows, my typical stack. And gluing all of this together will be WP Fusion for those features and functions that really go beyond what Fluent can do on its own. I do get asked often, why do I need WP Fusion? Well, the answer is that Fluent has a subset of important things it integrates with, including WooCommerce and tags, but it does not have the comprehensive capability of WP Fusion. And as such, WP Fusion truly is what I use for gluing things together, or the automation mechanics. And then I use Fluent's CRM as the CRM, truly the engine that holds all the data, and the dashboard for looking at clients. Let's talk about a concept, and I'll come back to sharing this. The concept is, why do you need community or social networking at all? Well, if we look at what Skool offers, they're really saying, look, if you're selling a service, if you got a group of people, if you've got something where you want people to either hear from you and talk about it or talk amongst themselves, that should be monetized. And there is truth to that. But what I found after this 20 years, starting with Ning, is that it's impossible to monetize it well unless you make it a secondary feature. And what I mean by that is your first feature is what you're offering top down. The secondary feature is the stuff that people do together. Even though Skool is about monetizing, that's the genius of Alex Hormozy and Sam Ovens as well. What they're doing is saying, look, you can make a free community about this, that, or the other thing, but really what you're doing is trying to sell access to it, and or you're selling coursework and you want people to buy it. Like, you know, I haven't done these, but here's a private one. Learn how to make an online school. It seems like it might be the same team, but you know, you pay $125 a month. These are the things that are mostly useful. One, a group of people posting up social stuff. Two, a group of people that are taking a class or part of a cohort. Three, it might be for an event, or it might be in a professional setting. For example, what if it turns out that you actually are, I have one client, for example, that services camps. We offer through their website the ability for kids to do get their bags taken back and forth. But the camps have millions of questions. So having a community like this might be useful as a portal for servicing the camps, even though the clients who are paying for the main business are the campers. All right, let's jump in, because this is where we're shooting for. Let's start out with what the community is. The community is, in the current beta form, it probably has a few boobahs here and there, but it's essentially a container inside of your WordPress site. But because it's deeply integrated with the other features of Fluent, it means that we can move the people in the data back and forth. So start out with number one concept. Let's do light mode because it's easier on my eyes. What I like to do is notice that by default, the URL here, I hope you can see that, is portal. You can adjust this and change this any way you want. And there's a million features that we can do here. If I bang around, it's just because they're changing and adding stuff and I've just not caught up. You can set a logo if you want, which will go in the corner. And it's just as easy as, you know, grabbing a logo, right? So I can use, I think I created something like that, right? I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see if it scales up. Next is you can put a portal-wide notice, and you can also change who can get in. Now, this is really important. Everybody can see it, like it's public. Only people logged in, or only user roles. Now, We do not want to use roles ever. I'm not really sure why they put this in here, but it is useful if you think of it like this. The only roles that you should ever use are either people on your team or people not. So people who have one of the administrative levels of access, which would be administrator, editor, or author. But do not use roles for the front end stuff. We want to use marketing automation tags for that instead. People are either getting for free or buying a tag like a Costco membership card to get in. So let's just make it logged in users to start. Now you can change the URL if you don't want it to say portal or you don't want it to be portal, which is cool. Maybe you want to call it community or something. Change it to what you want. Just know that the feature's there and it's very useful because, again, whatever you decide to use is up to you. Next is what I like to do with this is we're going to have the option of using LearnDash courses or courses built in. This is a worthy feature because if we look at some of the features that are available when you try to sign up for Skool, I think they listed on this page, right? So, I'm going to log in. Let's just log me in here. They have the kind of they're going to have to send me a login code. So let me get the code. Well, they have a set of features that are basically the same thing, right? So you have groups, you have courses, you have the capability of posting media and so forth. Let me just get the code. 3914. Very complex. Okay. So you kind of see community classroom. I'm here in the Ryan Lee one TV. Community classroom, calendar, members, leaderboards, about. We have almost the exact same stuff here, right? So let's start out with, if you wanted to do courses, you can add it locally, but I kind of suggest that you might be better doing LearnDash. So my SkoolWP course, and you can give it a different slug if you want, about using LaunchKit. You can decide whether you want it to be public or private. And in doing so, remember, private are for people who have either been added automatically through an automation or have been manually added through the back-end screen. In any event, when you do it this way, it's interesting because you can still have people in the public sign up through this, but we really want people to sign up through the front end, no matter what, even for free stuff. You can also make a group, and I'll just put it into the communities group, right? Enrollment could be self-paced, structured, or scheduled. So that means like they can just do what they want when they want. It could start when they enroll and it drips, or it starts on a specific date in the future and it drips relative to that date, like 1 week later. Let's just do self-paced and we'll put it published. I'll just add the photo that I had here because it's handy. And I'll just create that. So this is one option where you could create a course and you can offer it inside of here. And then you add your lessons. I'm not going to add lessons, but just, topic 1. The reason that I like LearnDash for these things is that LearnDash is comprehensive and it's also got all the other features we want for selling and other things. So by using this as a hybrid, you can pull some stuff off here, but I still think use the best tool for the job, and LearnDash would be the best tool for what we're doing on the LMS side of things. Now you can put featured media and all this stuff, but lesson 1. Done. Okay. So now what I've got is I've got a course and I can publish that stuff and that would be available. As far as the other setups, let's go back and talk about how we're going to connect these two worlds. So here, if I look at the feed, this is like the public space, the lobby of the community. I want to add something to the menu to take people back to the other part, the place where they came into the building. This is sort of like the auditorium, the social gym, but I want to take them back to the lobby of the building. So let's just use the features of managing the settings of the top menu. And I believe that is located, I got to go here on the upper right corner. I'm still getting used to, nope. I'm still getting used to where things are located. It's up here, sorry. So it is under the settings, menu settings. These are some of the things that when you use a new system, sometimes you wonder. So we got primary menu, drop-down items, top links on the sidebar, or groups. Let's just use the top, and we're going to add a new link, and we're going to say, let's just call it home. And we can put in a URL of either slash, or we can put the actual absolute URL, which would be SkoolWP.com. If we want, we can add an SVG icon or an emoji or something. Let's enable it and save it. Okay, so now what we've got is we can drag this, let's say, to the top. So it's the first item. Okay, and we're essentially done. When we refresh the page, that should reflect itself. So notice now we've got the way to get to home by clicking. Takes us back here. Let's do the same thing in reverse, shall we? Let's make sure that the menu shows how to get into the community. Mark asks, is it possible to use WordPress site navigation on the top? Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, I think what you're asking is inside of the community. The answer is, I believe so, but I have to work out how that's going to be or how that's going to look. So what we were discussing was, because I do this with launch flows, if you could just swap it out, you essentially have the container with a normal page so that you can decide to use the normal navigation, which, by the way, seems the logical way of doing this, right? I mean, it seems ridiculous to have it totally in a container, but there are benefits to doing that, as you're seeing, because the community now has the ability to be unencumbered from whatever the theme may do if you want to do it that way. All right. Great question. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is this. Using Cadence, what I had set up here was a full width page, and I disabled the header and footer. Let's just put the normal stuff in there, just so we can see this relatively speaking. And let's add into the top navigation a link that goes to the portal. So you essentially have navigation gets you into the portal, out of the portal, or you can just go directly if you know the URL. Either way is fine. Let's go ahead and just do it this way. Appearance, customize. And using Cadence, which is part of LaunchKit, it's very simple to just modify the header in the preview mode here. So I'm going to click on header as soon as this loads. And in doing so, what I can do is just add in the primary navigation, right? So let's click on that and we'll select a menu. I haven't put anything up, so let's use the primary menu and edit it so that we have a couple things in there. First thing is, if we want to add an item, let's go and add it that goes into the portal, right? So there may very well be something in here, I don't see it right now, that is related to the portal, but all we need to remember is, remember it was called /portal. So what I would do is just make a custom link. It's in here somewhere. Here it is, custom link right at the top. And let's just do this. Let's do HTTPS SkoolWP.com/portal. Now, what you could do is just do the relative URL as well if you want. Let's call it community. Add it to menu. And then we can go ahead and we can drag it any way we want. I'd put it like maybe at the first menu item. Drag over there, kid. Sometimes when I'm doing the video recording, the screen JavaScript gets weird. Okay, so we should be set to go. Now let's close this preview. And we should see essentially the way that we can get back and forth. So step one, we've made it that it's possible to just go between the two worlds. So for example, I'm just leaving this ugly banner here. Community takes me to the community side. Home takes me to the home side. And as Mark indicated, I will sort out as a follow-up to this how we can make it that the container itself, even on the community side, is just the community. Next, we want to sell something, right? So if we were in the community, let's say there was a reason for free or for money that we wanted to enroll people or put somebody into a special space, which is really the whole point, isn't it? To have your own space. So let's do membership space, because I'm so obvious. Membership space. This is for members who have paid or done nice things to get access. And we're going to make it private, of course, because we don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry to enroll. It has to be invited. Now, here, you notice that only members can view and create posts. Admins need to approve. Here, secret is sort of like public, but you don't have to be it's like the difference between hidden and private. In private, you have to be enrolled into it, whereas with hidden or secret, you just have to basically know where the link is. So we want to make sure it's locked up. You also can do, which is kind of cool, you can allow people to request to join the community, which might be an interesting way to go about it, because maybe it becomes like a sales page. And the link is going to be the product that gets them in, as I'll show you. Okay. And we can do a group where, in this case, I would like to make a special group. So I'm going to come back to this. Notice this one here. Only admins or moderators can create a post. Now, this is an example. Let me zoom in on Spence on this. This is an example of how to run a profitable community, or at least one of the groups. Why? Because you are editor of the New York Times, the Chicago Sun-Times, you are the editor of the Washington Post, and people can do, hey, letter to the editor, but you have to decide to publish it, and then people get to comment on it. And that has been historically where most of the actual money is made, versus people just posting anything that's on their mind and, you know, going back and forth. It does not mean that you have to be exclusive. It just means this is your moneymaker for at least one of the spaces, the, you know, the curated by Spence kind of stuff. Okay. And then you can do a featured image. And these actually should be kind of stretchy, you know? So I don't know if this will stretch out enough, but these should be like, they're going to go across the banner at the top. You'll see. So let's actually make it where we're going to come back to this. But let's make a group. Oh, hold on. There are still bugs in here. I'm going to put in the space group for now because it wasn't happy without that. But let's make a new group. So in the spaces, we can see we got the administrator. We can manage the groups. And we've got my school course. We've got membership space. If we wanted to, we could make a special group. I'll leave it at that because I got some typos in here. But actually, no, that's their typo. We could make a special group that's associated one-to-one with just the spaces you need. So let me give you the concept. A space has members, a space has groups, a space has courses and lessons, a space has stuff. You can make a special space and have that be paid or allow people to enroll. For now, just to save time, we created one group, and it's called communities, and it's got 2 spaces in here. But you could have, if you wanted, just made a special, you know, group just for this thing. Okay, I just want to be clear. Let's talk about the member stuff. So you can edit your profile, and you can also add people into the profile, which is pretty cool because this is really the bottom line. When people ask for community stuff, they don't want to share everything under the sun, but they want to have a place that there's a feeling of safety for somebody who's has a profile in there to do what they want. So you'll notice that somebody can edit their own stuff. If I don't want them to know me as Spencer, I can say it's Spence, and I can leave off my last name. Notice there's no required fields and so on and so forth. And I can put my social network stuff. This is a cool feature here. If you want, you can make sure that everybody knows only people with verified profiles should be paid attention to, or even visibility. So this allows you as the admin to go off and check their credentials, which is awesome, and mark it as verified. So this will change slightly. And if we look at the profile in the members, because it's only me right now, we can see we got that little certificate, the level of my gamification of what I've done on the leaderboard. Now I'll talk about the leaderboard because it does have that feature, which is really nice. So if you're into the idea of promoting and encouraging participation in your community, just like Skool, this is a great way to do it. I also want to point out that the business model of Skool, it seems, is primarily on selling. We provide you a platform to take the money. You get 60% of it. We keep 40 or whatever. And then we also have an affiliate program. So refer a bunch of people. And I think that business model is awesome. But just imagine if you didn't have to pay any money for the platform, and you can decide what to pay for people to send new initiates, because built into the back dashboard, if we go home, built into the back dashboard is affiliate WP. So we can already do all the affiliate stuff. I'm not going to set that up here, but you can set anything you want as a link for somebody to sign up or recommend somebody. into the stack, into what you're offering. So if I go into my plugin stack, you'll see I have affiliate WP. It's part of the WP LaunchKit bundle. I'm just not going to set it up because it's pretty obvious what that does. All right. So now we've got the community, we've got the navigation. By the way, just to get this off my table, I just designed the logos and everything else right in Canva. Could not be any easier. And I highly recommend that because that way you could just get off the ground for yourself and your clients in minutes. Set up a template, has the right stuff for the header, the logo, the site icon. Bing, bam, boom, you're out the door. Okay. Let's talk about what we're going to do to get access. Now, we already have built in launch flows and WooCommerce and WP Fusion and Fluent. Let's make sure everything's set up. First of all, let's go to settings, WP Fusion, and make sure that it's capable. The reason you see my WP login is because I'm the administrator. It's a good question. I'm the administrator right now who is managing the site. As you'll see in a second, as an end user, you will not see any WP admin stuff. When I started talking about this, I said there's only one reason to have roles. People who are on the administrator side, which are admin, author, editor, or people who are not, who are customer subscribers. So normal people, great question, will not see that. And I'll show you in a second. I'm going to use the plugin switch to show that. So what we want to do is make sure Fluent CRM is connected, and we've got some tags set up. We've already got a main list. I've shown this in other videos. I just want to make sure that it's connected. And that way, when somebody does anything, in the community profile, you can choose for any person to have a private profile, even in the beta. So yes, that is correct that the way you see it now, but that's because I just haven't gotten to hide it. Good question, though. That's an obvious one, correct? That somebody should be able to, as I was alluding to, not show their logins or credentials. But when I do it as a logged in other person, we'll take a look and compare them in a second. Okay, so now that we get WP Fusion set up, let's go over to Fluent CRM and make sure we've got the CRM set up just to capture the people that are going to be buying or getting for free the login, right? Super easy, but important. So I've just set it up like your business name. I've set up a main list. I've set up some tags. And let's look at our integrations because we want to make sure that WooCommerce will integrate nicely with the main list. And we don't need to give them a default tag. So let's just sync that. And then LearnDash too, if we wanted to, we can make the same thing. So anybody who registers in any way into LearnDash gets added to the main list. And this is just a great way to make sure that everybody who's interacting with the system is kept in the CRM and everything is kept synced. All right, so now what we're going to do is, I believe we have a sample course in LearnDash, but let's make sure we've got at least something to give people as a as an additional option from the default courses inside of the community, right? So if we look at courses, I think I have a placeholder here that I made. If not, I'll just make one real quick. I do. New example course. Let's just publish that. And this is just some way that you could sell something using the high capabilities of LearnDash. What I want you to note is, even though WP Fusion would allow us to enroll somebody with a tag, we do not want to do that. Likewise, and I'll tell you why. Likewise, we want to make this a closed course that somebody has to register for. You do not need to worry about the price. Why am I doing this? Because with LearnDash and WooCommerce, we can actually, instead of using these native methods or secondary methods, we're going to sell or allow somebody to buy for free a product. And we're going to use the LearnDash WooCommerce connector, which is a much more powerful and flexible tool. Why? Because that way you're not limited to only giving one thing matched up to one tag. You can have a situation where 1,000 products or specials can all offer automatic enrollment of a LearnDash course. And that's really nice for things like bundles or special sales. So let's do that. Let's go to a product and see what we've got. All products. This is how fast this is, by the way. I mean, like, you can pay money for school, but like this, you own it, control it. You can be set up, even me blabbing her in, talking about this in a couple minutes. So let's do a new product just for fun. We'll call it community membership. And I'll do it both ways. So I'll do it like paid or free. It makes no difference to the outcome. Okay. So community member, and let's make it a subscription. I need to turn on the subscriptions. So let's go on the back end, and very simple to do. We just enable the plugin, right? So we've already got it in LaunchKit. So we need WooCommerce subscriptions to be enabled. And there it is. And I'm also going to activate the custom price string so I can call the label of the subscription anything that I feel like instead of the default language that comes out of WordPress and WooCommerce. Okay, I think I got both of those on. And by the way, this is worth noting. When you're using LaunchKit, if you get set up like this, here's what's awesome. You just need to go to LaunchKit real quickly and click the cleanup button, or go to the top, by the way, go to the top of the page here and just click the cleanup. Delete inactive plugins. Why? Because this is a feature that, let's say you get everything set up the way you want to. Click this button and it will just get rid of everything you're not using, which makes it so awesome, because then when you come back, if you have to disable things or do things, you know what you had at the time, versus like sometimes you're playing around and you got all these plugins in the freezer that you're not using. It might be confusing. All right. So now we've got a product. Let's finish working it out. We want to review this or refresh this so we can get it as a subscription. By the way, it's my 40th high school reunion this weekend. 4-0. Talk about time flying. I was born when Johnson was president. Anyway, all right, so we're going to do a simple subscription. You can make it virtual because we're not giving anything away. It could be downloadables if you want. It's all good. What's the price? Let's make it $97 every month. Do not stop till canceled. No sign-up fee if we don't want to. There could be a free trial of 14 days if you want. Let's just keep it simple for now. No trial. And here's where you could do that price string. You could say, join now, just $97 a month. Or just say just $97 a month. Cancel anytime. Now, what we're doing is essentially giving somebody a tag. They're buying a tag. And the tag is like their Costco membership card. Hey, Spence, you want to come on in and get those great deals? You need to show your card. And if you stop paying, sorry, you need to go to the front desk and renew. It's really simple, right? So let's give this a product image. And for this, I could use the logo, or I could just do, credit card or something silly. But look at what's nice with Cadence and everything else. I like this dude. With everything on the back end, it's super duper duper simple, right? You just literally can turn on the features you want, a couple setup things from the recipe I'm giving you now, and you're in business. But you have full control and ownership. Whereas in the other platform, they just give you what you get, and that's it. All right, so now we've got the terms set up. Let's go to launch flows, and we're going to send folks to the checkout page, because this sales funnel, it should be go right immediately to checkout. Let's not mess around. And the thank you page, likewise, we're going to just go to the pre-made thank you that will list out the things you bought, and you can give somebody instructions what to do next. Well, what are you going to do for the instructions? Use this trick here, product short description. Just put in, you can do it in text or whatever. I'm going to use a little HTML because I'm going to just say break tag, but you can just do plain text. Just say, click here to view community. Okay. And for this, I'm just going to turn this into a link, right? Super easy, like we talked about. So SkoolWP.com/portal. Okay. Why this is important is this will then show up when they buy it as in the thank you as an option. Would be super fast and easy. Now, let's finish setting up what we're going to do. We're not going to get fancy with anything about the sales page, but we could turn it into a sales page. In this case, I'm just going to sell it like the regular old way on a product sales page or on the shop. I could clean up the sales page a little to get rid of any extra fluff. All right, now we want to give them the tag. The tag has to be something that gives access to the community, right? So with WP Fusion, we can choose from an existing tag, or we can make a new tag. Let's just say we want to make a new tag. I would say subscribed. Let's do it more literally. Let's do can access community. And notice that it's very semantical. Can access community is really telling you this is what this tag does. This is an access tag. If I wanted to, I could give them a receipt tag. So the receipt tag would be subscribed community. Now, why is there a difference? Like Costco, one of them is your Costco card, and one of them is the what did you just buy before the dude puts a magic marker down it. When they stop paying, we're going to remove the tags, both of these, and we are going to only hand back the receipt. So let's say they cancel, we're going to only hand back the receipt. But before I do that, let's synchronize the tags. And what we want to do is we go over here, and I just do this one time. Just so they'll show up on the drop downs. I go to settings, WP Fusion, and I click that big button. Just synchronize my tags, man. Okay. And now that I've done that, when I refresh this page and I want to choose which tags to give back, they'll be in the drop down, which is important to me because I want to make sure that they're in the system. Okay. So if we go back to WP Fusion, let's choose, well, let's make sure, kids, that we've got this all set up. Sometimes what I do is I unhide the notices to make sure that I have taken the WP Fusion out of sandbox mode. Looks like I've got the tag, but I just want to make sure that by taking it out of this mode, I can double check that nothing is actually disconnected with regard to when I've set up this site as a sandbox. You see that notice there for same thing with WooCommerce. I want to enable automatic payments. Let's double check just in Fluent that I've got the tags that I was just talking about. And so for that, I go to contacts tags. And this is just like any other CRM. Let's just make them real quick here manually, right? So I'm going to do can access community. And you can give notes. This gives and removes access. And then second of all, the receipt tag, which again is enough to manage most all of what you want to do. So the receipt tag would be subscribed at one time. Community. At one point was or is a subscriber. And this is good because in the future, you might want to designate like Spence went to XYZ high school 40 years ago, but he thankfully doesn't still go there. All right. But we want to differentiate. So back to the product. If I refresh now, let's just choose those from the drop downs. I might still have to refresh this though. Hold on. Let's check. It's just a necessary thing. Yeah. It's a necessary thing that when you're working here, notice WP Fusion has a link in the admin menu. You just have to say, look, go double check what's available in the CRM because I just added some new stuff. That's all. So let's try one more time. I told you there's no net. This isn't a problem though. This is pretty normal stuff because like I'm adding the CRM's tags without telling WP Fusion. There it is. So when I buy, I'm going to give two tags, can access community and subscribe to community. Next, I'm going to say, remove the tags if they stop paying me, but give them back the receipt. So let's say they cancel or payments failed or expired, whatever the reason may be. So I've effectively taken away their Costco membership card and I've handed them back the receipt with a line through it that says, hey man, it was nice knowing you. But it's also the things that you can use for triggering future automations. So if I wanted to do so, very, very simple to just simply say, look, if you get the subscribe tag and you lose the other tag, send an email out like, what happened? Why'd you stop paying? And so forth. Let's just double check that we've got it set up properly because we had those red flags. Looks like it's good. So what do we've got? We've got a community. We've got some content in the community that's a private space. We've got a lesson that's in the community. We've got LearnDash lessons. Let's do some sales, man. All right. So what's going to happen is we need an automation that's going to enroll somebody into LearnDash. That's a tool inside of the product. So if we go here, this is what I mentioned before. When you have the LearnDash WooCommerce connector, it's much, much, much easier to use this and more flexible because notice I can choose from multiple tags here. All of my, good morning, WP Totem. All of my stuff is always available all the time on the YouTube channel, WP Launchify, or here, or inside of spencerforeman.com. So absolutely. And all of the goodies are available for you to take with you just by doing what I'm showing you on the screen. So what I was saying is with LearnDash, notice I can enroll somebody in a group or course or courses per product. This is the way we want to do the enrollment and the removal versus doing it with the link with tag method. Okay. Let's double check to see if we've got a product live in person on the front. Look at that. Sign up now. You are most welcome. Thank you for joining me. Notice on my checkout, it's a streamlined checkout with launch flows. It gets right to the point. We can streamline it further. We have some optional things like states or whatever we don't need. Let's clean this up a little bit. Let's, just because I like to make things clear, let's get rid of that extra state field. I don't think we need that. So for that, we're using WooCommerce checkout. And in doing so, we can customize the billing fields. And we just click here for billing. I'm going fast because this is like, obviously you can slow this down and go back. And let's also hide the notices again, because you can notice why I put that tool in. It's just so annoying when it's always on every page. So first name, last name, email. What's interesting to me is I'm trying to think. That's disabled. So I'm not 100% sure where that was coming from. Let me see something. I don't honestly know why that, oh, sorry, that's the checkout page. Let's see why that's adding that. It might have been something I just stuck in there from playing around. I wonder what that's from. I, honest to goodness, do not know where that comes from. So I'll have to look into why the state is showing up, but let me just see one last thing. You know, I told you it's without a net. Sometimes I see stuff and I go, huh. So let's go back here while we're looking at that. Almost every time that there would be any modifications to the checkout field, it would happen from WooCommerce checkout. We're using the WooCommerce checkout field manager plugin. First name, last name, country, region, city, town, state, and it's not required. I'm going to reset this just to see if it changes anything. This came from a template, right? I'd set it up using the LaunchKit packages. So it's possible that WooCommerce updated something and so forth. So if we reset this, let's see what the checkout page looks like now. It changes. It should add all the other regular fields for address and so forth. Right. So let's see if we do this from scratch and we get rid of all that extra junk, because you really don't want to show all of that stuff. We just want to put the email at the top. So it's the first thing somebody gives us. We need their email for the capturing of the abandoned cart. Okay. And then what I do is I just disable company name and country and billing address and apartment and city and state and postcode and phone. And I disable those because like it's a virtual checkout. I don't need those things. Just double check they all saved. I think did it. Let's check it out one more time. And if it still is there, I'll just leave it. It's some quirky thing. Okay, that cleaned it up. So it was as I said. Now, if you're interested, you can make this checkout page look awesome and do anything you want. I've got pre-made packages that allow you, or patterns that allow you to do what you want. Nope, it's just the checkout field manager. We figured it out. Notice I'm just doing a straight up design here, but you can do any patterns you want using launch flows, which makes this really awesome because LaunchKit is standardized using all these amazing things. I don't know, let's say if you want to look at some of the checkouts, any of these could be copied and pasted because all the parts are like cut out of the newspaper and you could just go, oh, I would love this tabbed version or a sales page, and just copy the pattern, paste it. Ta-da, everything will work fine. So it's a real time saver. For right now, today, I'm just going to go with this one. And so what's going to happen is when somebody buys this, they're going to be registered and logged in. We need an automation to get them in to the community. We already have them being enrolled in LearnDash with the course, but let's do the community. How do we do that? We go on the back end to Fluent CRM. And I know they're doing some integrations now that are going to make this part of the native community stuff, but it's so easy to do. Let's just do them together. We go over here to campaigns. Sharon, the patterns mean if you have a page layout for checkout, you can go to patterns.launchflows.com, copy anything you want, and then you paste it into, for a product page or a checkout page or whatever you want, you paste it into here. And it appears. I've covered this in about 250,000 videos. Look on the documentation or send me a link and I'll send you. You paste it into here. I'm going to show you because it'll save the trouble. Watch patterns. Let's say I wanted to do a different type of a checkout. Okay. So there may be a need, I want you to know, to ensure you don't have any product IDs for things that don't exist, because it'll tell you there's an error. So if some of these demos have like a pattern code that has a product bump or something, make sure you change that to a valid number before you save the thing. If I go here to the checkout page, let's say I delete what's here for a moment. Okay, all I do is put my cursor in and do paste. And in doing so, obviously some of these things need to be updated to represent what I've got, but your pattern goes into place. And then just tweak everything as necessary to make it work. Okay, some of the patterns are, you know, fun and usable. They're just inspirational. But the idea is that all of the content is already there for you. You don't have to rebuild it or go do some complicated thing. All right, so just getting back to my original design, because on the checkout, I just want to keep this one really super simple. Let's do the automation necessary. I have a couple minutes here. So we're going to make a first email campaign, and the campaign is going to be enroll someone in community when they subscribe. And we really just want to give them the tag. So we can start with, I'm going to come back to this, by the way. I started in the wrong thing. I said campaign. In my brain, I did campaign. I wanted to do an automation. So I'm going to come back to this campaign. The automation is the enrollment, and then they're going to get the campaign. So let's do the automation first. Create from scratch. We're going to be enroll someone in community when they get subscription tag. Now, I can enroll them either through the tag itself, or I can do it through WooCommerce, like when they bought the thing, when the subscription's activated. This is a great example of the flexibility, because it really depends on how you want to architect. If you want to use Fluent natively and WooCommerce natively, then you can just know subscription activated and order status change or whatever it is to trigger various things to happen. You can also do learn dash progress, course enrolled, and so forth. But for me, I like to stick with like one method. So I'll go with the tag applied method for everything. That way, all my automations have under the hood the same logic. I don't have to be thinking like, oh, what did I do to trigger that? And in this case, the tag is going to be can access community. When they first subscribe, they get that. Remember their Costco card. And they need any of the tags. So this is just one tag. They can restart this anytime. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to then use an action that will put them into Fluent. So when I look here, I have all these different types, right? CRM, email, Learn Dash, WooCommerce. Hang in there. It's coming, right? So we have the ability to add them in. And let's go. I need to zoom this down a little bit. There we go. I might have to search for it now because I did this before and I know it's in here. Here, Fluent boards, where is it? Fluent community. Where did you go? I think I have to turn it on. So I'm going to turn it on. This one surprised me. I told you I'd be surprised. Let's go into the integrations and see whether or not that is the reason, because I know it exists, but I think I have to turn it on. So let's go to settings. Let's go to integrations. See what we got. Learn Dash. I may have to do a quick retreading of my steps. I think this is not going to be in the Fluent CRM. I think this is going to be, without me looking it up, I think this is going to be inside of the Fluent community. So let's go in there and try that. And I think it's under here, if I remember. Nope, it's under here. And features. Okay. So here is where I can install some of the features. Let me turn off sharing for a sec. So for example, Fluent CRM, Fluent Forms, Fluent Community, and so forth. Let's add the community chat while I'm doing this. And then while we're here, let's check the settings for Fluent CRM. No, that didn't do what I wanted to do. So let's go back. I know it exists. So hold on, hang in there. I'm just having a moment. Um, I have a feeling like I'm looking right at it, so I'm going to do a search for community. Not seeing it. Interesting. I did notice here that they added enroll to group and course, which is also cool because that's mirroring what we've got elsewhere. Goals, list applied, tag applied, list remove. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to check as to the, I am doing something obviously wrong. Let me check to see what I set up on the other side of things where I set up an Insta WP because I had this running before and I know there is an action in there. And the action is essentially to move them along inside of the community, right? So let me go into here. Let's see if let's do it this way. Sorry about I was doing so well, but the most important part is the automation, right? So let's see if this gets me in. Otherwise, I got to use a different way. All right, sorry. Hang in there, kids. I used Insta WP for this, so it's easy to get past that. All right, let me see what I did because I am 100% sure the automations they had. And what I'll do is I'll just export it because I'll show you that anyway. One of the things that we're talking about inside of the Fluent community board was some of these things being native. So maybe in the last update something happened, or maybe I'm just having a brain fart. So let's go to my automations here. And one of the neat things that I can do, see, add to community with tag. Let's take a look at it. And then I can either just find out where I found it or, so with this, they have removed the block. So I don't have a good answer. I'm check the community itself. Yeah. I'm open to suggestions, by the way. Say it if you've got it. What happened to the blocks? The blocks were here. Let's go over and see. I don't have a good answer. That's unfortunate that I'm live without a net on this, but you can see, and I'm just going to see if I can find it, but I'll explain what was happening. Normally, when you have a tag, then there was a conditional block that allowed you to essentially add you to the space. Let me see on this setup what blocks are available to me, because that will confirm whether or not I'm losing my mind or what happened. I see courses, groups. Nope. Seems like it's missing altogether, but that's, hey, that's beta. Remove from list, remove from tag, add notes. I'll ask them. I don't know. I do not know what happened, but it's definitely not me losing my mind because it was here before and I had it set up and now the block is gone. So maybe they're using a condition. Let's see what happens in here. If we're looking at activities, segment, Spence is in the net. I don't know. So if anybody from the team over WP Managed Ninjas is seeing this, let me know what the hell happened. I will check Syed had asked too. I'm going to check Community Managed Ninja. Let's see what happened. They have a board here. And I don't really know how I'm going to find what I'm looking for, but action. Let's see. I'm just going to see a bunch of random stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to ask Shah Jahan and the team. It was there. So I'm going to go back to at least explaining what it is that it would be doing, because I'm sure that this is like in process of being moved, or somebody pulled that guy like from the airplane movie where he unplugged everything. In theory, what's going to happen is there used to be a block here. Okay. And the block would have an action of putting somebody into a particular place in a space. That's it. That's all it did. It was really super awesome. And that's all it did. I don't know where it has gone to, but I'm sure they are in the process of putting it back. So let's pretend that we did the same thing, but putting them into a group or something like that. So let's just say, or even LearnDash. Let's say it was enrolling in a course. In theory, when they put this block back, what's going to happen is when somebody buys it, they get a tag. The automation, as long as they have the subscription active, will trigger their enrollment. And when they're no longer paying, it will remove their enrollment by taking out the tag. This works perfectly well with all the other features. But again, this is beta and it's not released yet. So they're entitled to do whatever the heck they want, even if Uncle Spence gets left out to dry. Let's see what happens in general. And then I'll explain how this would work in practice. Okay. So instead of enrolling to the course, let's just say we know they're going to get the tag. Let's make sure we go live on that one. And let's make sure that we'll go live at the store. So let's go back and take this. I want to do two things. I want to use the switching to plugin. So for that, I'm going to use the login me now. And I'm going to create a link that allows me to log back in as whoever I want to be logged in as. Okay. So I'm going to generate a login link for today. And this will allow me to get back in real quick without futzing around with it. And then let's do a buyer and see how this all works. And I'll explain the rest because otherwise we'll just, we'll come back to this. All right. So let's go log out as me. The question was asked earlier about by Nia, by saying that right, about seeing the login. So let's go over here to the community. And again, you're going to end up doing this differently, but let's say you were offering this product. You can offer it as a direct to checkout link, or you can offer it as a product page, a sales page. I've done this a million times with launch flows. It's super easy because the link is unique. In this case, I just am using the traditional, here it is in the cart, let's buy it. In doing so, they're going to get the tag and be in the CRM. And once we get this sorted out, once the block comes back, that will trigger an action to also enroll them into the community, into the proper space that we talked about, right? So let's do Bruce at Springsteen. I think I spelled that wrong, but forgive me, Bruce, the boss. All right, and Bruce puts in the card that he gave me to use. And checkout will take him to the thank you page where he will get the information about the enrollment. I am low on time, so you can imagine if we change that from $97 a month to $0 for free, you would get the same result. But notice he can now click and go right to the community where, let's pretend the block gets returned, he would have been enrolled in here. And that's it. It's super simple. So in other words, the mechanics of doing this are a no-brainer. I know that the team is probably working on that last part of integrating. But notice even without that I'm registered and logged into the site. So I can go back and forth and I already have access to the public stuff like the feed. I'm happy to be here. And all of those features are public. Bruce, let's look at his profile. Notice it just says BS, Bruce Springsteen. He has choices like I was showing you before about what would be shared or shareable. So it doesn't have to show his whole name, just like I was saying. The boss. I don't believe anywhere it's going to show his email. And I would imagine that if there are things that you wanted to have further customized, that's part of this beta, to find out what things would be helpful in order to, again, accomplish the goals without giving away too much. I don't see anything in here that lists the boss's email. So that's good. But if he wants to, he can share which spaces he's created or comments in general. So very helpful. Finally, let's log back in as me because I want to show you what happens on the admin side of running the site. You know what? I don't know if that's necessarily wrong. So the thing I want to explain to you though is he can customize here what he wants to have as his public. display. So I don't know by putting @Bruce if that's going to lead back to his WordPress profile, but you bring up a good point. So it might be true, and in which case that would be just a feature to be tweaked. So that's why this beta is really helpful. You know, you and everybody else gets to say, hey, can't you fix this? Absolutely. Okay, so let's just go back and log out as Spence, or log out as Bruce, sorry, and log back in as Spence, or this at least administrator profile. And I want to show you what happens on the back end. If all goes well, I will have a couple things. First of all, I can always manually add Bruce to the space, which is super cool. So if I wanted to, I can go to Fluent Community here, and I have all these other options, which I think includes some of the things we just talked about, like what gets displayed by people. But if I go to members, I can look who's pending, who's blocked, and so forth. If I go to spaces, I can, as the admin, add somebody, right? So I can manage the groups, and I can add a person. I can make somebody a manager. These are all really, really helpful, useful things. If I go to Bruce's profile, I think I can also further edit for him. Just notice here, this is the part. Bruce, let's call him the boss. And he's verified. So I think it's possible, whether it's through the admin only or individually, to accomplish this privacy concern you had as well. The plugin is available in beta now through Fluent. I don't know when they're going to release it for sale, but you can get it now through LaunchKit, as I'm showing you here. But this is obviously, everything else is the final software. I'm still working with the beta like everybody else. There's no magic trick to that. So get it for free from them at the, community.fluent.com, or you can do it through LaunchKit as part of a membership here. So I think this actually works pretty well. And if I wanted to add him in to a space and so forth, I could just do that, right? So boss can get in even if it's not automated. Let's go back, and I want to show you the last thing for today, and then I'm going to ice the back and go meet my 40-year high school pals who are in town. Let's look at what happened with the boss in terms of his tags and in terms of his what's he enrolled in and so forth. First of all, we will see with WooCommerce that there should have been an order for the boss for $97 a month. Awesome. We should see that he's got a subscription. By the way, do not let it be lost that 100% of that money, other than the Stripe fee, is going to you. I know Sam, not person I mean, but I know Sam Ovens and Alex Ramosi do not need the extra WordPress community's money, because you can do this yourself. So you don't need to give them the money to do this, and you don't need to worry about like getting locked into their platform because they're taking the money and paying it out. You can be the bank. You can own all of the revenue, or your clients can, and you can do this as a service for your clients as well. Okay, and then finally, let's go to Fluent. If we go to Fluent CRM, we're going to see the boss as a contact. He should be on the main list, all things being equal. Da, 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 da. Now, this is what I love, because notice I've got the ability with all these other things like Fluent support, Fluent boards. I can do automations that take them to different content for video inside of LearnDash. I can use the affiliate management to do. I can see everything inside the site that I own and control, and all the software is managed by LaunchKit. Like, this is truly WordPress as a service, and at a cost less than the other platforms, and with none of the shenanigans that you can do for yourself or your client. So the boss is here. He, if all things had been equal, he would have gotten the 2 tags, right? But I showed you there was a little hiccup in that. His purchase history would demonstrate that, look, he's subscribed. He's active for $97 a month. You can go back to the order. Look, this is what he bought. We can see his lifetime value. We can see he's enrolled in that course. We can, if we wanted to, have support tickets managed from here. We can see where he's doing or progress and manage them from here. We can see if we wanted to send the boss a note like, hey, score me 2 ticks, will you, for the next show? We can do it here with an email meeting. So what's really nice is this is a full-fledged system with your own cash register connected to your own Stripe account that you can get through, as we talked about, at WP LaunchKit.com in this live event. You can just click the button. It'll take you to LaunchKit. The Skool setup itself is just a matter of a fancy label. I mean, the features are the features. You could get these in Circle or Mighty Networks, or you can go and build them yourself with Buddy Boss and Buddy Press. But the reason I'm showing them here is, with the exception of that one little quirky thing, this is pretty well ready to go. We just need to get the couple of the blocks finished, and we're out the door. $97 a month gets you a fully hosted site with all of the almost $4,000 of software, plus unlimited email consultative support from me, as well as access to all of the other things for documenting these as a solution. You can come and go as you please, leave anytime. If you just want to do the software, do it for $47, and you can just read my documentation and watch my videos and not email me with questions. I'd be sad, but it would work. So as a takeaway, click on any of those. You can rock and roll. It's money back guarantee. All you do is install LaunchKit from your hosting, or if you get the hosted site, it'll come to you as I showed you, ready to go. Turn on the features, go to town. What I intend to do with this is to probably offer this as well as a version of what I already do for people who are smart business people. They just want Spence to operate the platform for them, but know that they still own and control it if they ever want to leave. Kind of like a true concierge. So for that, you can do 97 for the first site, 60 for every month site thereafter for the full-blown thing. It really, like, I have a flavor of ice cream that suits everybody. And if you do it that way and you send people, you're getting an equivalent recurring revenue. So on the $97, you get $20 for every new customer. On the 60, you get $20. That's $240 a year to send people to sign up. That's pretty good cash for basically then you running the community for them and charging them your services on top. I hope today was interesting. My intention is not to confuse anybody as to whether SkoolWP and Skool are the same thing. They are not. I'm just showing you how using open source software like the WP Launchify's LaunchKit can make it possible to do just about any business under the sun for yourself or your clients at a price that's insane. You own it, you control it, you don't pay recurring costs, you have your own Stripe gateway, you have your own SMTP, you have expertise, everything's curated to take home like IKEA, or it can be done for you, and you're not locked in any cages. This is the dream that I've been talking about for 20 plus years since we did this in those old days. And I'm really excited that so many people have understood it. And even in the WordPress community, it does not stop you at any time from doing any crazy Frankensteins you want, other than I will not support that. I will tell you, I'm going to have to charge you $300 to undo your Frankenstein, because I think most people get it and they just stick with what's working. And, you know, don't go to IKEA with a saw and a piece of wood in your hand. Go to IKEA to ask the guy in the yellow vest, which things can I use to get the outcome I want? I'm going to let you guys all go. If you have any questions, follow up, help@wplaunchify.com. And I will see you on the next video next Friday. Ciao.